The massive body of the moon-gazing beast charged forward with a terrifying speed, and with that impact, it felt as if the entire starry sky might collapse, echoing with loud booming sounds. Among the cultivators surrounding Wang Lin, the vast majority were at the level of either the peak of the Tao or Yin deficiency realm, with very few at the Yang fulfillment stage, and even fewer having reached the glimpse of nirvana. For those cultivators with bad luck, being struck by the moon-gazing beast meant their physical bodies would immediately shatter into a mass of blood and flesh, and their divine souls would be unable to escape, directly crushed by the shockwave. In an instant, miserable cries erupted one after another. The surrounding cultivators, terrified, fled even faster. This thing is definitely beyond our ability to resist. It's not worth losing our lives over the Yu family's reward. Forget it. This Sumu can actually use the power of this creature. A person like that is best left alone. Let's leave quickly while it's still unaware of us. The family's ancestral elder was right. Only cultivators below the Yin deficiency realm should be involved in hunting Sumu. After all, this Sumu is no ordinary person. Various thoughts surged in the hearts of the cultivators as they quickly retreated. The moon-gazing beast's gigantic body paused for a moment. Then, the massive wound on its head suddenly split wide open, as if its body was about to be torn apart. A piercing roar erupted from its mouth, echoing throughout the area. The sound was so powerful it created an unimaginable penetrating force, radiating outward from the center of the moon-gazing beast body. The explosive sound was like countless thunders crashing in every direction. With the momentum, those cultivators who had not yet fled far enough were immediately struck, their divine souls and physical bodies shattered with a deafening bang. Accompanied by a furious roar, the moon-gazing beast moved across the starry sky, its numerous long tentacles waving around like powerful magical treasures. Anyone who made contact with them immediately turned pale, and if struck multiple times, their divine souls would dissipate, leading to certain death. This scene was astonishing. The moon-gazing beast, with a body as vast as a cultivation star, swayed its countless massive tentacles, while around it, cultivators who were unable to teleport rapidly retreated, but could not escape fast enough. Fear and terror were visible on the faces of nearly every cultivator present. This was a massacre, a complete annihilation of cultivators by the moon-gazing beast. As the beast's rage erupted, the surrounding cultivators could only curse themselves for being too slow, an endless sense of regret growing within them. Cultivators from the 5 great primary stars of the northern Luo heaven region also rushed out from their respective cultivation stars, their faces filled with shock. They quickly activated the formations of their cultivation stars, none of them daring to go out and assist. After the roar, the moon-gazing beast suddenly halted. A series of low growls came from within its body, and soon after, streaks of black light flickered. From its mouth emerged numerous smaller moon-gazing beasts, some 1,000 feet long, others 100 feet, and some just tens of feet in length. These smaller moon-gazing beasts were tiny compared to the main body that could transform into a cultivation star, but to the surrounding cultivators, they were still monstrously huge. With the appearance of these smaller moon-gazing beasts, the massacre reached its peak. Countless moon-gazing beasts scattered, devouring the retreating cultivators in all directions. The Yao clan members, as they fled, saw only a few lucky ones, those at the glimpse of Nirvana stage, managed to escape, while the rest of the clan perished. Even the cultivators from other cultivation clans who came to assist from the Luo Tian star domain were killed in the fury of the moon-gazing beast. The entire starry sky was engulfed in a thick, blood-stained aura. However, the moon-gazing beast's fury had not yet fully subsided. As its massive body moved, strange, almost human-like voices echoed from its mouth. This scene immediately caused the remaining cultivators to lose their sanity. They could hardly imagine that such a massive beast possessed divine abilities. If it unleashed its full power, everything around them would likely be destroyed. The awakening of the moon-gazing beast spelled catastrophe. At this very moment, 10,000 miles away from the region where the moon-gazing beast was rampaging in the northern Luo heaven domain, 3 figures stood in the starry sky. These 3 figures were blurry, their ages varied, but without exception, they all exuded an aura of terrifying power. Among them was Yin Lazy. I didn't expect this little brat to lead people so close to the moon beast. But if he hadn't done so, I would never have been able to notice it, Yin Lazy said with a smile, slowly speaking. Fellow Taoists, this plan of mine has been in the works for many years, and I've been eyeing this moon beast. Now that we've seen its power, do you still support my plan? Yin Lazy withdrew his gaze and asked with a smile. Yin Lazy, your plan is quite insane, said a middle-aged man in a purple-black robe, with the yin-yang symbol embroidered on his chest. He furrowed his brows and said calmly, Xiangmo believes that although this plan seems crazy, if it succeeds, it will add a significant chance of victory. The last person among the three was an elderly man wearing a red robe. He appeared kind-hearted, but the cold light flashing in his eyes made it clear that he was far from a benevolent character. The middle-aged man in a purple-black robe snorted lightly but remained silent. It is crazy, but when Luo Tian cultivators wish to wage war against the Alliance Star Domain, without sufficient strength, there is no chance of victory. Cultivators from the Luo Tian Star Domain have experienced few life-or-death tribulations. This is a flaw in the family's cultivation method. In contrast, within the Alliance Star Domain, even between sects and disciples, there is constant scheming. A small mistake could lead to death. Those who survive in such an environment are all shrewd, ruthless, and decisive. This is something you should see more clearly than I. Looking at this Sumu. The middle-aged man in the purple-black robe's eyes showed signs of deep thought. The elderly man in the red robe beside him, however, smiled slightly and said, Sumu is excellent. He would be a great fit for someone from our Donglin star. Our goal with the 108 immortals is to find such decisive killers. With them leading, we can ensure that all Luo Tian Star Domain cultivators undergo a bloody baptism. Yin Lazy's eyes shone with intensity as he laughed. It seems that the blood god is more decisive than I thought. In order to help his clan adapt to the upcoming alliance war, he was willing to sacrifice that treasure for a blood sacrifice of his clan members. The red-robed elder from the Xiang family chuckled as he spoke. The blood god only wants to gain more benefits in the alliance war. But even I didn't expect him to be so decisive. That treasure only had one more use left, and yet he didn't even leave it for himself. Yin Lazy shook his head, an expression of regret in his eyes, but there was also a hint of admiration. According to what we've investigated, Sumu comes from the Alliance Star Domain. Yin Lazy, you place such importance on this person. Are you not afraid he might rebel once he reaches the Alliance Star Domain? The middle-aged man in black robes, who had remained silent until now, spoke coldly. A cold light flashed in Yin Lazy's eyes as he stared at the middle-aged man, smiling, fellow Taoist Gong's son. I too come from the Alliance Star Domain. Are you not afraid that after I organize this plan, I might rebel in the Alliance Star Domain? The middle-aged man shot Yin Lazy a cold look, then withdrew his gaze without pursuing the matter further. Yin Lazy scoffed inwardly, thinking, I've already learned Su Mu's background well. He was chased here, and his situation was very similar to mine back then. With his temperament, the chances of rebellion are low. Even if he does, I'll just kill him. Do you need to be so concerned? Ancient cultivation clans? I really don't take them seriously. Fine, since fellow Taoist Yin Lazy is so confident, we'll leave this matter aside. Now, it's time for us to act against the Moon Beast. After all, if too many people die, it will also be a loss for our Luo Tian Star Domain. However, this Moon Beast, we need to think carefully about how to control it. The red-robed elder from the Xiang family fixed his gaze on the void ahead, as though his eyes could pierce through space itself, landing hundreds of miles away. This is not difficult. If we work together, along with a few of those old monsters, once the passage opens, we can drive the Moon Beast into the Alliance Star Domain. By then, Yin Lazy's eyes gleamed with madness. His body flickered and vanished from sight, and the other two also disappeared with a flash. The Moon Beast vented its fury, its countless tentacles sweeping across the battlefield, claiming the lives of countless cultivators. Its furious roar shattered the surrounding starry sky, leaving those cultivators unable to teleport as their minds shook. Even those cultivators who fled quickly were no match for the Moon Beast's speed, and it caught up to them. Especially the juvenile moohowls, which devoured cultivators one by one, instilling a sense of despair in all who saw them. The air was thick with the stench of blood. The massive body of the Moon Beast moved slowly, but in that instant, a blood-red octagonal symbol appeared in the air above it. The symbol exuded a powerful aura. As it spread, ripples echoed through the air, and within those ripples, there was an overwhelming sense of invincibility that made anyone who touched it feel powerless. On the octagonal symbol stood a figure, the red-robed elder from the Xiang family. At this moment, his expression was serious as his body descended with the formation. As the ripples spread, they seemed to surround the massive form of the Moon Beast, trapping it in a confinement. Hurry up, I can't hold it much longer, the red-robed elder shouted. Under the red-robed elder's feet, the octagonal formation heightened the fury of the Moon Beast. Its angry aura surged to its peak in an instant, and it roared fiercely, breaking through the air as its colossal form went wild. At the same time, outside of moon gazing, Yanlazi's figure stepped out from the void. With a flick of his sleeve, a large number of cultivators were immediately engulfed by the heavens and earth, forcibly swept into the starry sky and disappeared. Both Yanlazi and the man in the black robe moved at lightning speed. In the instant the elder in the red robe sealed moon gazing, they struck down the surrounding cultivators, sending them into the heavens and earth one by one. If any of the Yao clan members were encountered, Yanlazi's cold light would flash, and when he struck, he deliberately increased his strength by 10%. This caused the Yao clan members to suffer heavy injuries, spitting blood before vanishing into the heavens and earth. Moon gazing was furious. Although the octagonal seal only sealed it, the smaller moon-gazing beasts around it were similarly affected, with an octagonal seal appearing on their bodies, temporarily hindering them. Rage surged through moon-gazing. It had been countless years since it had been so restricted. With a roar, it smashed into the surroundings, and with each impact, an octagonal seal appeared in the void ahead, generating massive recoil. The booming sound echoed, and moon-gazing's fury grew stronger. In an instant, 2 cracks appeared on the beast's head and large mouth. These cracks were moon-gazing's eyes. Its gaze was murky, with smoke swirling within, yet there was a madness to it. A series of vague murmurs emanated from its mouth, and in an instant, countless crystal points materialized from the void, forming an enormous, slightly rough finger. Moon-gazing's fury was like the finger of an ancient god. Quick! Without hesitation, the elder in the red robe pressed both hands against the formation, his expression growing more solemn. He shouted. As his voice echoed, his robes fluttered backward, his hair rising without wind. With a massive surge of primordial energy within him, it seemed as though a storm was brewing in his body. Under the octagonal seal, the finger formed in front of moon-gazing caused the red-robed elder's heart to tremble. As moon-gazing's roar sounded once more, the finger of the ancient god slowly pressed against the octagonal seal above. When the finger made contact with the seal, it shattered immediately with a loud bang, breaking into countless shards that rolled back. The red-robed elder's face immediately turned pale, and his figure was forced back by the shards, quickly retreating toward Yanlazi and the black-robed man. At this moment, the two had already sent away all the surrounding cultivators. Yanlazi fixed his gaze on the finger of moon-gazing, excitement flashing in his eyes. He laughed loudly. What a magnificent lunar beast! If we send you to the Alliance Star Domain, profound Heavy Lord will surely be amazed. With a low growl, moon-gazing's ancient god finger rapidly pressed toward Yanlazi and the others. This scene seemed as though a true ancient god had descended, raising its finger and pointing forward. Fellow Taoists, we cannot resist the lunar beast's strongest strike. Unless its true form arrives, perhaps we can struggle a little. But now that our goal is accomplished, why not experience the power of the lunar beast firsthand? Yanlazi laughed loudly, stepping forward and charging straight at the ancient god finger. As he charged, his body was enveloped in blazing fire. In an instant, a towering flame erupted from his body, engulfing him entirely. The finger of moon-gazing descended, and as it approached Yanlazi, he let out a low growl, his hands forming seals as he pressed them forward. Instantly, his flames surged wildly, coalescing into a flame dragon that charged toward the ancient god finger. This flame dragon represented Yanlazi's full power. As it shot forward, his physical body disappeared, as though even his primordial spirit had faded, leaving only the flame dragon and the ancient god finger to collide with a deafening crash. Boom! A violent sound reverberated across the heavens and earth, echoing throughout the majority of the Luotian northern region. The flame dragon shattered, turning into an endless sea of flames that wrapped around the ancient god finger and burned fiercely. The red-robed elder's eyes glowed with an eerie light. With a hearty laugh, he stepped forward, forming a seal with his right hand and pressing it to his forehead. In the blink of an eye, he transformed into a red rapier. As the ancient god finger was surrounded by flames, the rapier stabbed forward. The black-robed man also showed a decisive expression. He thought to himself that his clone could be sacrificed, but he needed to experience the lunar beast's strongest attack. Perhaps there was something to gain. At his level of cultivation, every step was difficult. He saw this lunar beast as a potential opportunity. With a sudden leap, the black-robed man formed a seal with his hands. His body transformed into a black eagle, a mere illusion, yet radiating an ancient, weathered aura. It shot forward, directly toward the ancient god finger. At this moment, The entire Luotian northern region resonated with an unimaginable roar, as if the entire northern region was collapsing. Cultivators from all the cultivation stars felt a powerful divine sense sweeping through them. The flame dragon shattered. The red rapier shattered. The black eagle dissipated. The ancient god finger dimmed even further, yet there was no sign of damage. Under the repeated roars of the moon-gazing beast, the remnants of the ancient god finger swept around in a circle and eventually transformed into crystalline light, merging into the moon-gazing beast's body. Coldness flickered in the moon-gazing beast's eyes as it opened its mouth wide. Immediately, countless juvenile moon-gazing beasts around it burrowed into its mouth and disappeared without a trace. The massive moon-gazing beast slowly moved forward, and with its countless tendrils swaying, it gradually vanished into the starry sky. At this very moment, inside a secret chamber in the Xun'er Immortal Palace within the Luotian star domain, 3 people sat cross-legged. Beneath them lay an ancient formation, and the positions they sat in were key points of the formation. Among these 3, one was Yin Lazy. Suddenly, he opened his eyes, revealing a contemplative expression. At the same time, the other 2 also opened their eyes. These 2 were the elder Xun'er in red robe and the middle-aged man in black robes. Very strong, the man in black robes said in a deep voice. Indeed, the moon beast is exactly as recorded in my family's archives. Definitely not something to provoke lightly. Elder Xun'er in red robe spoke slowly. Since that's the case, we will need to join forces with many others and launch a plan to capture the moon-gazing beast alive. Yin Lazy said, a hint of madness in his eyes, speaking calmly. In the eastern Luo heaven region, within the Yo family's ancestral hall on the blood-red planet, the blood god's token behind him shattered with a series of explosive sounds. More than a dozen pieces broke apart, turning into white vapor. With a flick of his large sleeve, the blood god collected them all. His gaze was cold as he looked up at the sky, murmuring to himself, as expected, those from the Alliance star domain are indeed more decisive and ruthless in battle than my own family's third-generation members. Their character is firm and resolute. After a long silence, the blood god's right hand grasped the air, and immediately, a red light spread and condensed into a blood-colored jade slip in his hand. Send second-generation family member Yao Yun to the northern Luo heaven region to retrieve Su Mu's command. A divine sense lingered as the jade slip disappeared before him, turning into a patch of blood-red light and vanishing without a trace. In the Luotian star domain, after the horrific tragedy in the northern Luo heaven region, the name Su Mu, the demon path scion, became widely known by all cultivators. Despite being relentlessly hunted by the Yao clan and countless cultivators, this man not only survived, but also took advantage of a massive ferocious beast's power to stage a terrifying counterattack. Most of the cultivators who pursued him were wiped out, and this act stunned the entire Luotian star domain. No cultivation clan dared to involve themselves in the conflict between him and the Yao clan. The news carried by the surviving cultivators from the moon-gazing beast battle spread like a storm throughout the Luotian star domain. Su Mu, the demon path scion, was not to be provoked unless absolutely necessary. This man was extremely reckless. Not only was he immensely powerful, but he also had a bloodthirsty nature, slaughtering low-level cultivators. To retaliate, he even awakened the massive ferocious beast, causing a catastrophe. His ferocity was renowned, even rivaling the vermilion bird star, and no one dared to get involved after hearing about it. Likewise, the rumors about Su Mu's deeds in the Xun'er Immortal realm resurfaced, deeply etched in the hearts of all cultivators. The name of the demon path scion had grown far beyond expectations in the Luotian star domain. Wang Lin, however, was unaware of all this. At this moment, he moved cautiously within the moon-gazing beast's body, his face dark and somber. Behind him, countless juvenile moon-gazing beasts followed closely, all their tendrils twisting in excitement. They eagerly chased after him, devouring the residual aura he left behind as he moved. Furrowing his brows, Wang Lin continued to move forward. He had sensed something was off for a long time. This time, entering the moon-gazing beast's body was completely different from last time. The moment the juvenile moon-gazing beast saw him, they grew extremely excited. In fact, when Yo Bingyun had attacked him earlier, the moon-gazing beasts even intervened to help him. This scene made Wang Lin ponder. It must be the ancient god leather armor. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. With a thought, the ancient god leather armor he wore over his nascent soul detached, transforming in his hands, and was quickly stashed into his storage pouch. Having done so, his body flickered, and he swiftly changed direction and moved away. The moon-gazing beasts pursuing him immediately became enraged, as if their favorite possession had been taken away. They roared angrily and scattered, searching frantically. Wang Lin breathed a sigh of relief as he cautiously continued navigating the moon-gazing beast's body, constantly searching for the location where the greedy wolf cauldron had once been. That cauldron had stirred his heart deeply. However, just then, waves of tremors spread from all directions within the moon-gazing beast's body. These tremors transformed into ripples that quickly closed in on Wang Lin. His expression changed, and he quickly retreated, trying to avoid the ripples. However, ripples began to echo from behind him, and before he knew it, they quickly pierced through his body. In an instant, the ripples dissipated, as though they were the moon-gazing beast's method of detecting foreign objects within its body. At that very moment, the moon-gazing beast had located Wang Lin. A muffled roar echoed within the moon-gazing beast's body, a divine power capable of shattering the soul. Initially faint, the roar rapidly grew louder, becoming so intense that it seemed to transform into countless thunderclaps, all echoing directly next to the ears, thundering with madness. In the face of this crisis, Wang Lin forced a bitter smile. Slapping his storage pouch, the ancient god leather armor appeared, and with a deep sigh, he draped it over his soul once more. In that instant, it felt as though a whole world separated him from the thundering noises. Though still powerful, they were somewhat subdued as they reached his soul, making them bearable. However, the aura emanating from the ancient god leather armor caused the juvenile moon-gazing beasts within the moon-gazing beast's body to react violently. Their fur twisted and writhed as they rushed toward Wang Lin's position in a frenzy. Wang Lin's scalp tingled. He was now caught in a dilemma. If he removed the armor, his soul would collapse under the intense roar, but if he wore it, it would surely attract countless moon-gazing beasts. With another sigh, Wang Lin's expression shifted, and a chilling aura suddenly spread around him. In the earth before him, a crack opened, and a moon-gazing beast the size of several dozen feet erupted from it, charging toward Wang Lin as if in jubilant celebration. Its gaping mouth, and Wang Lin's eyes, was clearly not simply attempting to absorb the armor's aura. After cultivating for a millennium, Wang Lin no longer harbored any illusions about self-deception. He knew this moon-gazing beast would not recognize him as its master simply because of the ancient god's aura. At this moment, Wang Lin's face turned grim, his eyes flashing with cold light as he swiftly retreated. The giant moon-gazing beast, upon charging toward him, continuously devoured the aura emanating from Wang Lin's body. This aura was imperceptible to any cultivator, and even the ancient beasts passed down from prehistoric times couldn't sense it. In this world, aside from a few beings like the Starmark Weasel, only the moon-gazing beasts were sensitive to the ancient god's aura. The cold light in Wang Lin's eyes grew fiercer. The moon-gazing beast before him was likely not just absorbing the aura of the armor but also planning to swallow him whole. Just as Wang Lin retreated, a stronger, colder aura suddenly enveloped the surroundings. His expression darkened further, and without turning back, he immediately changed direction. Behind where he had just been standing, the earth cracked open, and a 100-foot moon-gazing beast roared as it emerged. Its fur twisted around its body, and its mouth opened wide in apparent excitement, with large amounts of mucus flowing out, rushing toward Wang Lin to devour him. Wang Lin changed direction again, and with a series of cracking sounds, more than 10 fissures suddenly appeared around him. One by one, moon-gazing beasts of varying sizes shot out, all charging toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he retreated, his inner primordial energy circulating as he sent it outward in a sudden burst. Immediately, a powerful collapsing vortex formed, propelling him backward even faster. Behind him, the moon-gazing beasts continued to pursue, their eyes filled with excitement. Yet, beneath their excitement, there was a terrifying, chilling intent. They wanted to devour the aura of the armor, but more than that, they craved to swallow Wang Lin himself. If they did, they would forever bask in that thrilling aura. With so many moon-gazing beasts on his tail, Wang Lin's scalp tingled. In his rush, his expression shifted drastically, revealing a bitter smile as his figure suddenly stopped. In an instant, over 100 cracks appeared in the earth ahead of him, and countless moon-gazing beasts erupted from them, nearly forming a dense, surrounding mass that trapped Wang Lin inside. As the moon-gazing beasts charged toward him, preparing to devour him, Wang Lin gritted his teeth, his eyes flashing with ruthless determination. Just then, a sudden, violent roar erupted from within the moon-gazing beast body. As the roar reverberated, the smaller moon-gazing beasts that had been preparing to devour Wang Lin immediately retreated. The circle surrounding him opened up as the moon-gazing beasts moved, creating a passage. Wang Lin's gaze sharpened, but just as he focused, a rapid cracking sound filled the air. A massive moon-gazing beast, tens of thousands of feet long, shot out from the passage. Its speed was astonishing, and the powerful aura emanating from it was no less than that of the blood ancestor. In an instant, Wang Lin's expression changed drastically. As the giant moon-gazing beast charged, its speed was so extraordinary that it swallowed Wang Lin whole with one bite. It immediately contracted its body, moving swiftly into the earth, racing away into the distance. Following it, all the other moon-gazing beasts also trailed behind, moving in unison toward the distant horizon. The giant moon-gazing beast's body was gray, and as it moved, its eyes were filled with a cold, merciless gleam. It moved with such speed that it seemed at home in its vast, massive body. Within half a pillar of incense, it reached a strange location. Here, there was no earth, only a gigantic whirlpool slowly rotating. Each rotation released waves of chilling air, which spread through the surroundings. If Wang Lin could see the whirlpool at this moment, he would focus and recognize that this was the location of the moon-gazing beast's head, the very place where the lunar essence existed. Upon arriving, the massive moon-gazing beast suddenly opened its enormous mouth and exhaled. Immediately, Wang Lin's body was pushed out with great force, unable to resist, and was sucked into the whirlpool, vanishing without a trace. Outside the whirlpool, a group of moon-gazing beasts lay still, not moving at all. Inside the whirlpool, as Wang Lin's body entered, his gaze flashed. After being devoured by the moon-gazing beast, a strange aura had emanated from within the beast's body. This aura instantly rushed into Wang Lin, causing his primordial energy to cease functioning, as if it had separated from his body. He was no longer a cultivator, but had become a mere mortal. This scene shook Wang Lin's mind, but he immediately sensed that the ancient god leather armor on his primordial soul emitted a strong suction, drawing in the strange aura and immediately absorbing it. With this, his primordial energy resumed its operation. After being expelled and entering the whirlpool, once Wang Lin looked around, he gasped, deeply moved by what he saw. It was a narrow, elongated space. Tentacles stretched out from the void, slowly writhing. In front of Wang Lin, a great cauldron was entangled by countless tentacles, as if absorbing the aura within it. The tentacles swelled, moving and sending the energy into the void. This cauldron was the greedy wolf cauldron. What made Wang Lin gasp was not just the cauldron, but the sight of the figures entwined in the tentacles around him. These figures were all naked and emaciated, men, women, old and young. There were so many of them that nearly every tentacle had someone wrapped around it. All these people had their eyes tightly shut, and their bodies exuded no life force, resembling corpses. The tentacles that entwined them were clearly draining their life essence. Wang Lin didn't recognize any of them, but he could vaguely feel that not all of them were cultivators. There were also common mortals among them. For instance, not far away was a boy who appeared to be only 6 or 7 years old. Despite his shriveled body, it was clear from his small frame that he was indeed a child. At that moment, his body was just skin and bones, with no signs of life. On his face remained an expression that spoke of ultimate pain and despair. A chill spread through Wang Lin's heart, immediately enveloping his entire body. He gazed into the deeper parts of the space, where it seemed boundless. Wang Lin could imagine that ahead, there must be even more tentacles, each likely carrying more victims wrapped around them. Moon-gazing beast, Wang Lin muttered in silence. He could guess that these people had all been devoured by the moon-gazing beast over countless years, becoming its life source. A terrifying thought surfaced in Wang Lin's mind. Back when the moon-gazing beast transformed into the misty cloud star, there were ruins of cities on that star. Surely, before that, there were cultivators and mortals living there. Did they really move away? Wang Lin took a deep breath, his eyes filled with complexity. His gaze was fixed on the boy who appeared to be around 6 or 7 years old. At that moment, countless tentacles appeared from the void, moving with lightning speed toward Wang Lin. His eyes flickered. Without the ancient god leather armor, he would surely be defenseless like an ordinary mortal, unable to resist as the tentacles wrapped around him, draining his life essence until he died. But now, killing intent flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He didn't rush to engage the tentacles, instead dodging with even greater speed, heading straight for the cauldron ahead. Wang Lin didn't want to destroy the tentacles unless absolutely necessary. If he did, the moon-gazing beast would surely notice and act immediately. With a dash, Wang Lin avoided the tentacles, his body almost like ethereal smoke. In a moment, he reached the cauldron, and a faint, ancient aura began to emanate from it, spreading throughout the area. His eyes flickered as he observed the cauldron. The energy inside was even denser, and the tentacles only wrapped around the exterior, as if unwilling to extend into the cauldron itself. At this moment, countless tentacles appeared behind Wang Lin, rushing toward him. Without a second thought, Wang Lin dove straight into the cauldron. The moment he did, a powerful blast of force erupted from the large whirlpool at the entrance. Then, a delicate figure of a woman appeared within the whirlpool. Her face was pale, her eyes tightly shut, clearly unconscious. As soon as she appeared, half of the tentacles that had been heading toward Wang Lin split off and rapidly wrapped around her, draining her life force. When Wang Lin saw the woman's face as he fell into the cauldron, his heart jolted. This woman was none other than Yao Bingyun. As the tentacles coiled around Yao Bingyun, her clothes showed signs of corrosion. Even her storage bag could not escape and collapsed. At this moment, Yao Bingyun's clothes were torn, exposing large areas of her skin. Her eyelashes fluttered, and in that instant, she opened her eyes. Wang Lin sighed in relief. For now, he could only say they were temporarily safe. His gaze grew pensive as he ignored the external matters and immediately sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, and began to focus on his breathing. As he closed his eyes, a phantom appeared behind him. Tom Mountain stepped out and sat cross-legged within the cauldron, his eyes flashing. If anything unusual happened, he would act immediately to protect them. While sitting cross-legged, fatigue surged from the depths of Wang Lin's heart. Since entering the Thunder Immortal realm, he had always been cautious. After stepping out of the Thunder Immortal realm and being transmitted into the body of the Nether Beast, he fought a brutal battle before finally stepping out and returning to the Luotian Star Domain. He had originally planned to take the members of the chosen Immortal clan to Qingling Star, where he would learn from Li Yuan how to break the heart seals and rest a bit. However, the events that followed forced Wang Lin into a situation where he had no choice but to fight, no choice but to be ruthless, and no choice but to retaliate. The pursuit by the Yu family, along with the involvement of several cultivation families, led to Wang Lin being relentlessly hunted, forcing him into a life-or-death situation. Though he held the advantage in his battles, the constant strain and the risk of death grew overwhelming, and by this point, the accumulated fatigue had taken its toll. Now, sitting in the cauldron, his weary body and mind reluctantly began to relax. The cultivators outside, under the moon gazing's attack, will certainly suffer heavy casualties. I believe no one will be chasing me for a while. Even if there are still pursuers, they won't be able to enter the moon gazing beast and find me. Given that, while this place is dangerous, it is also a safe refuge. Wang Lin thought, his inner energy circulating, nourishing his soul. As his energy flowed, sharp pains surged from his soul. Wang Lin remained calm. Over the past days, he had faced multiple crises. If it weren't for the protection of the ancient god leather armor, his soul would have been destroyed by now. The cruelty of the cultivation world, where one could perish at any moment, could not shake Wang Lin's stout heart. He had grown accustomed to such experiences during his time in the Alliance Star Domain. These hardships had accompanied him throughout his life. Yao Bingyun's divine powers caused too much harm to the soul, if not for the ancient god leather armor. Wang Lin opened his eyes, a cold gleam flashing across his gaze. His physical injuries were not severe, but his soul had been damaged. Despite the protection of the ancient god leather armor, it still bore wounds, though not serious. At this moment, he calmed his mind, sat still, and immersed himself in his breathing technique. Outside the cauldron, countless tentacles swayed gently. Near the vortex, Yao Bingyun's face was pale, but her eyes showed no panic, only calmness. As she escaped from the moon-gazing beast-shaped cultivation star, she was pursued by a towering moon-gazing beast, which swallowed her whole. An odd force immediately entered her body, causing her primordial energy to be separated, rendering her a mere mortal. Soon after, she lost consciousness. When she woke up, she found herself here, the tentacles wrapped around her body, tightening, sending a chilling sensation through her, circulating within her body and gradually absorbing the separated primordial energy. This process was slow, but it never stopped, continuing endlessly. Yao Bingyun's eyes displayed calmness. Focused on the Tao, her temperament was typically serene. Even though she felt her primordial energy slowly draining, she knew that panic would not change her situation. Only by remaining calm could she think of a way to escape. However, as she took in the scene around her, her face instantly turned ashen. On the countless tentacles surrounding her were emaciated, naked figures, causing Yao Bingyun's calm to nearly collapse. After a long while, she took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down. In her calm state, she noticed that the tentacles wrapping around her body were not just absorbing her primordial energy, but also her life force. Close eyes. Yao Bingyan murmured to herself, her mind steady as she closed her eyes. Close ears. Her body trembled slightly as her hearing was instantly sealed, cutting off all sound. Close breath. At this moment, Yao Bingyan completely relaxed her body, her breath disappearing from both her nose and mouth. Close spirit. Her soul instantly stopped functioning, and though separated from her primordial energy, it crossed its legs, self-sealing, and entered a mysterious state. Close thought. This thought, the thought of life, was a vital force inherent in all living beings. At this moment, Yao Bingyan decisively sealed her own thought of life, and in an instant, all signs of vitality vanished from her body. She seemed like a lifeless corpse. Her mastery of the sealed immortal technique had reached the level of closing her thought, a high level indeed. Cultivating the sealed immortal technique does not require innate talent, but it demands absolute rigor in one's Tao heart. Without a steadfast Tao heart, one could never enter the state of sealed spirit. After sealing away everything within herself, a series of cracking sounds echoed from within Yao Bingyan's body. In an instant, a thin layer of ice crystal appeared inside her, quickly spreading until it formed a solid sheet. The ice crystal even sealed the tendrils that had been wrapping around Yao Bingyan, and soon after, the cold air emanating from her body grew stronger. The ice crystal increased in size, and as the cracking sound reverberated, a thick layer of ice, 3 feet in depth, formed within her body. She was half naked, sealed within the ice, her expression calm and serene, so much so that anyone who looked upon her would be moved with an inexplicable attraction. Time passed slowly within the moon-gazing beast. Whether day or night had passed, it was as if time no longer mattered. In the starry sky, the massive body of the moon-gazing beast slowly moved, wandering through the northern Luo heaven region. One day, the moon-gazing beast came to a halt. It was deep in the heart of the northern Luo heaven region, where the surrounding starry sky was extremely sparse, with no cultivation stars in sight. After it stopped, its body slowly curled up, its head and tail meeting, forming a circle, and once again transforming into a cultivation star. The countless tendrils extending from its body shrank, swaying in the air, releasing large amounts of black mist that spiraled outward, surrounding the cultivation star. Gradually, the tendrils became shorter and shorter, until, in the end, they were less than 100 feet long, drifting around the transformed cultivation star. The surroundings returned to tranquility. Within the peculiar elongated space of the moon-gazing beast's body, Wang Lin opened his eyes, a sharp glint flashing in them. The injury to his primordial soul was not easy to recover from. After cultivating in meditation, it had only healed about 80%. Wang Lin's gaze was like lightning as he looked at the walls of the cauldron around him. The ancient godly aura on these walls was incredibly intense. Even though the moon-gazing beast was constantly absorbing this aura, it remained astonishingly powerful. The moon-gazing beast didn't kill me, but instead threw me into this place. Clearly, this is not only a place where it absorbs vitality, but also a place where it draws the ancient god's aura. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with thought. This massive moon-gazing beast, it seemed, would throw anything or anyone with ancient godly aura into this place. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with intensity as he muttered, which means, there must be other things related to the ancient gods here. A strange light flickered in Wang Lin's eyes. He raised his hands and pressed them against the cauldron walls. His mind stirred, and immediately, his divine sense flowed from his hands into the cauldron. If Greedy Wolf could take this cauldron for himself, then so can I. Wang Lin's divine sense swept through, merging with the cauldron. In an instant, he felt an enormous pulling force, fiercely tugging at his divine sense. Wang Lin had prepared for this. This force clearly came from the energy released by the vast number of tendrils. With his mind unwavering, his divine sense fought like a lone boat in a furious sea, struggling as it fused into the cauldron. Gradually, under the immense pulling force, Wang Lin's divine sense painstakingly spread throughout the cauldron, leaving behind his divine sense imprint, but no feeling of control emerged. Wang Lin furrowed his brow but did not give up. His divine sense continued to spread, imprinting bit by bit. This process was incredibly slow, and he had to resist the pulling force. With Wang Lin's cultivation, it was a difficult task. Time passed, but he never stopped. As his imprinting continued, he gradually began to sense something. In one corner of the cauldron, there were symbols etched by someone later. These symbols were quite complex, and although they were carved into the cauldron, they were shallow. From the outside, they were practically invisible to the naked eye. Even with divine sense, it would have been impossible to detect them without Wang Lin's method of slow exploration. On these symbols was also a divine sense imprint. When Wang Lin's divine sense deeply touched this imprint, a cold gleam flashed in his eyes. He clearly sensed the aura of Greedy Wolf on that imprint. Greedy Wolf is not dead. A cold glint flickered in Wang Lin's eyes, and after a long time, his emotions slowly calmed. Greedy Wolf is still alive, and his imprint remains. That's why I can't control this cauldron. But if his divine sense imprint is still here, why can I still leave my own imprint? Wang Lin pondered, a thought flashing through his mind. He recalled the symbol with Greedy Wolf's divine sense imprint. This cauldron is something that the ancient god 2C discarded. In the ancient god's memory, only the appearance of this cauldron was known, not its specific usage method. After all, the memory inheritance I received was incomplete. Wang Lin's divine sense spread throughout the cauldron, carefully observing the symbol for a long time. Gradually, his eyes brightened. Despite being enemies with Greedy Wolf, at this moment, he couldn't help but admire him. Greedy Wolf is truly talented. After obtaining this cauldron, he clearly didn't know how to use it and couldn't control it. So he took a shortcut. I don't know where he obtained these symbols, but he imprinted them on the cauldron, connecting some divine abilities within the cauldron. What he was truly controlling was this rune, but through it, he could unleash some of the Grand Cauldron's divine powers. Wang Lin took a deep breath. Without hesitation, his divine sense surged, swiftly converging on the rune from every part of the Grand Cauldron. Erase the divine sense imprint of Greedy Wolf, and this cauldron will return to its rightful owner. A flicker of excitement shone in Wang Lin's eyes. But just as his divine sense was about to dispel the Greedy Wolf's imprint, Wang Lin's expression suddenly shifted. His divine sense halted abruptly, then rapidly contracted, retreating through the Grand Cauldron and hurtling back into his body with tremendous speed.